this is my fantasy flower bracket. Today I am allowing myself to dream a little dream and put together a seed haul wish list. And then those little wishes are gonna battle it out. It's gonna be like a real rumble royale until I finally narrow it down to the 3 choices that I'm going to allow myself to actually purchase. Okay, so first, I just want to say that so many of you guys commented on my seed haul. I asked for recommendations and some of you like really came through. You also came in like super clutch because you told me that Select Seeds has the creme brulee phlox, and you would think that I would have immediately jumped on that because I was complaining that I can never find it and that it's always sold out, but I did not jump on that. But look at this. So this is the creme brulee phlox. This is my favorite variety of phlox. I just think it's so pretty because it has this really nice purple veining. It's kind of this creamy soft yellow. And then I love like these flowers that have this really nice like bright like kind of dark scarlety pink color. I think that's so beautiful. And it honestly reminds me of my other favorite variety of phlox, which is the cherry caramel. It's pretty hard for me, honestly, to choose between the two. I think that I already have some of these in my seed collection, so I think I am probably going to end up getting some creme brulee phlox. And then this flower, this painted tongue, I don't think that I have ever seen this out in the wild in someone's garden. I've only seen it in pictures, and every time I do, I just am like drooling over it. These like color combinations and this veining that's inside of it is like mind-blowing to me. It's so pretty. Strawberry pink, smoky violet, dusty, I can read. Dusky blues and purples. Ooh, those are pretty. Man, ooh. I think these are my favorite ones, this color. That is really nice. So I don't know, this is gonna be kind of a tough choice. And then let's see what else is available. I just posted my like video all about stock, all about growing it, favorite varieties, all of that. Somebody commented on my seed haul though and said that I should check out this seed company and the Quartet stock, and I've never grown this before. Sometimes I think I know so much about flowers, but then I feel like I live in somewhat of a little bubble of my own experience, which I mean is honestly true. But this is so pretty. It is good for cutting. So maybe bloom type, it's like early to bloom, similar to the cats. Those bloom pretty early because they do better with those colder temps. But I think that they are supposed to have stronger stems, similar to the iron variety. So maybe it's like a nice little in between. We're gonna add them. Let's just do that right now, shall we? Ooh, I love these. I talked about the Cherokee Sunset mix for the Rudbeckia. Sahara is the other mix that I grow a ton of, and I absolutely love it. I think that it's just as easy, it's just as pretty. You get a bunch of different colors. That is definitely one of my favorites. If I'm being honest, I kind of want to add jasmine. Is this like a climbing variety? Twining vines. I'm putting together some arches between the garden beds, and I'm looking for some really good like climbing varieties of flowers, but that are also like deer resistant because we get tons of deer in our yard. I try not to blame my mom because she likes to throw apples out there for them to eat. This jasmine is supposed to be deer resistant, so we're just gonna add it to the cart, and then we're gonna go over to Johnny's. Some asters, love asters, stock. It's so hard for me not to buy more stock. Ooh, what do we have here? These are so beautiful. Of course, what the heck? We're gonna add them to our wish list, even though it's crazy that it's 1,000 seeds for $21 and they're back ordered until April 14th. I am going to add it to my cart because that is so pretty. I love everything about this. I love this like beautiful multi-tonal ombre mix of these creamy pinks and yellows and the green at the top. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's keep going. Those are very pretty. I like me some of those. Oh, they're out of stock. I love the Binary Giants. This wine color is really pretty. This purple. Ooh, let's try this one. I love giant marigolds. I just think that they make such a beautiful like statement flower in arrangements. It's that big globe, like pop of color. They're so pretty. I saw online once like an installation of all these marigolds, and it was just so orange and so beautiful and like frilly, and I think that was probably the moment where I fell in love with marigolds, and I was like, man, I love the color. I love the boldness. They're so pretty. They do have a scent that some may find offensive. I love it, okay? Or, I mean, at the very least, I tolerate it for that pop of color. I also love these, the salmon pink, beautiful peachy pink. Add those. Okay, let's narrow this down. So this first matchup, this is like the tried and true versus something new and exciting. And I'm sorry, I came up with that rhyme right here in real time on the spot, so I apologize for that. But it's true. And I think when it comes down to it, as intrigued as I am by these painted tongues, and please, if you grow these, let me know if you like them. Okay, let me know how they perform for you. Do you use them as a cut flower? I'm so like truly intrigued by them. But I think I'm gonna go with the phlox because it is my favorite color of phlox, and I love phlox so much. I just think it's just the perfect filler for arrangements, and I love how it looks in my garden. So going with the phlox. And then down here, as much as I love marigolds, this champagne color of snapdragons is just like speaking to my soul. It's so dreamy and so pretty, and I just think that I have to move it along to the next round. And then next I'm gonna pit these Oklahoma salmon zinnias against these Binary Giant, the Carmine Rose. I love zinnias. I think that is no secret. I keep telling you guys how much I love them. So we have this like kind of a medium sized zinnia with the Oklahoma, and the Binary is a giant, kind of a big like statement flower. I think that I am going to move the Binary Giant, these Carmine Rose zinnias, to the next round. I've grown the Oklahoma salmons many times in the past, and they are absolutely stunning. So if you're thinking about growing those, I think that it's a wonderful, perfect idea if you want to add that to your garden. Most of my giant zinnias that I'm growing this year are from mixes, and they're all kind of those like light pink, peaches, orangey kind of colors, and I just think that this brighter pink will match some of them and will kind of be a little bit different in texture and color from the other like giant zinnias that I'm growing. So that's kind of where my thought process is with that guy. And then when it comes to the stock and the jasmine, I think I'm gonna have to go with the stock. This is a really hard choice for me, if I'm being honest, because I do really want like a vining plant for the arches that I'm going to build for my garden. And I think that this jasmine will be so perfect because I love the smell of jasmine. It's so dreamy and delicious. And I think that this pink color is really pretty compared to like you usually see like the white jasmine. But right now I'm kind of, you know, going back and forth. There might be some clematis or I don't know, something else that I haven't quite decided what I want as like a vining plant yet. And I have a little bit of time to think about it. So I think I'm going to hold off on like jumping in with this jasmine for now. And I'm going to move this stock to the next round. The stock is so beautiful. I want to thank everyone who left a comment and told me that I should check out this stock. I've never grown it before. I've never seen it before. It's so beautiful with these like multi-tonal, like this creamy yellow and pink. I think it's just perfect. It's everything I want in flowers. So thank you so much to everyone who recommended it to me. I really love when you guys recommend flowers to me. So these are the 4, and then to narrow it down to my final 2 for this first round, I think over here, as dreamy and as lovely as these snapdragons are, they are back ordered until April, which is not crazy. Okay, that's not a big deal, but I might just keep this in mind for next year. And I think I'm gonna move the phlox to the final. And then over here, I think I'm actually gonna side with the zinnia, honestly. I think that's kind of where we're gonna go with that one. I think I'm gonna hold off on buying more stock for now and kind of proceed with the zinnia and the phlox, and that feels pretty good for the first round. So round 2. All right, so right off the bat, we have another zinnia. Go figure. So we have the zinnia Oklahoma pink, and then we have the straw flower silvery rose. I actually really, really love straw flowers. They almost have like a, I don't know, like a steampunk kind of vibe to them. They just don't look like dainty. They're kind of odd and weird and look like they should belong in a Tim Burton movie. Tell me if I'm wrong, but that's kind of how they feel to me. I really love them. I think the texture of them is so cool, and I think that they're really, really cool when you dry them. They hold their color really well when they're dried, so I really like straw flowers. You already know my opinion on zinnias, and I really, really like this cool tone pink. And then for the other two, I have this Bupleurum and ornamental grass frosted explosion. Now, I always want to grow Bupleurum. I love how it's kind of like a yellowy green in certain places and then more of that like true green. I just think it's such a nice like color combo. But every year it doesn't grow great for me. I feel like it fails in one way or another. And then this ornamental grass, like this just looks like wild glitter to me. Like in an arrangement, I can imagine that it would just be very airy, a nice texture, very, I don't know, sparkly and cool. That's why I also really like Jewels of Ochre. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but those are really cool too because it's kind of like a deep red and it has that same like almost like glittery looking like sparkly thing that it does to your arrangements, and I just think that that's like really, really pretty. So up here, I know this is going to seem like such a safe pick and you probably see this come in a mile away, but I'm going to move the zinnias on to the next round. And then down here, I'm going to give Bupleurum another go. Okay, I'm going to keep trying and seeing if I can make it work for me. Maybe this will be the last year, I don't know, but I'm not ready to give up on it just yet. And then on this side, the next matchup we have, surprise, surprise, more zinnias, you guys. I don't know, I have a zinnia problem. I'm not ashamed to admit it. But these are the Jazzy Mix, and these are like tiny zinnias. And is it important to have zinnias in every size? I think it might be. So these are on my list. I love the idea of like little pom-pom zinnias. I love the little pom-pom dahlias. I think that those are so beautiful and fun to use in arrangements. So I kind of feel like these would have the same feeling as those pom-pom dahlias. And then another giant marigold, the cocoa gold, so more yellow instead of that orange color. You know how I feel about marigolds because I just told you. So, and then we have the pastel matchup between stock and yarrow. The iron variety of stock is my favorite variety. I talked about that in both my seed haul and my video all about stock. So if you want to kind of find out more about which varieties I prefer, you can watch those videos. I won't, you know, keep telling you the same things, but I do love the iron variety of stock. I didn't buy any in my yearly seed haul, so here it is on my wish list. And then yarrow is just one of my favorite flowers. I love yarrow so much. It attracts so many pollinators and beneficial insects to your garden, and I just love the color and the old-fashioned feel, and it's just one of my favorite fillers to also use in arrangements. So what are we gonna do here? Is it going to surprise anybody if I move the zinnias forward? They're just so little and cute, and I have a zinnia problem, so that's all I'll say on that. And then down here for my pastel battle, I think this one is actually pretty hard for me to make a choice because I honestly want both of these so much. I think I still have some yarrow seeds, and I'm also going to be moving some of the yarrow that I've had in my garden that needs to be divided and moved around. I want to refresh that garden bed. I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to go with stock. And then between these, I mean, is it even fair to put greenery up against a flower? I don't think so. Like, that was bound to happen, right? So I guess I'm not giving Bupleurum another go this year, am I? I just said that. I keep forgetting that I can't buy everything and that I'm making decisions. So I guess no Bupleurum for this year unless I find some seeds that I don't know I have, which could happen. That feels right. And then over here, we're gonna go with, I think I'm gonna go stock over the Jazzy mix just because, I mean, they're both mixes, so the thing about that is that you don't have as much control over the colors that you have. And these, it's kind of hard to tell in this picture, but these have like some really pretty kind of more like pinky and white tones and this like really light creamy yellow, which I really like. I just don't know if these like deeper, more like jewel tones, like these golds and this deep red, I just don't know if those will go with very many things, and I don't know what colors will actually bloom when I buy them. So I think these pastel colors, even though I don't have control over those either, I think they'll be easier to work with when it comes to the other colors in my garden. We have our two finalists. We have the Oklahoma Pink and the Iron Stock Pastel. And then for our final round, round 3, I have 2 different varieties of Scabiosa. I love Scabiosa as like kind of a floaty element in my arrangements, and they're very easy. They like reseed and come back. So I have some like peachy colors, and I actually think I might have not this exact color. I have grown this color, this Merlot, in the past, but I have like a deeper one that's almost, it's supposed to be like a black, that is also really pretty. And then I have 2 completely different flowers. Not the most fair matchup. I have the Larkspur. I love Larkspur. I use it a lot as like a line element. It's very wildflowery. I don't think that any of the pink Larkspur that I planted last year germinated, which is kind of a bummer. And then these China Asters, I just think that this is such a pretty color. It's a different color than, you know, some of the other flowers that I grow in my garden. And this is a really, really fun texture. For this round, as much as I love this like beautiful wine color, and I have grown these in the past, or at least something like really similar, and they were gorgeous, I think I'm gonna go with this creamier yellow just because I think it'll act as a better kind of like floaty, almost like a bridge color in some of my arrangements because it is that creamy yellow. And then down here, I love Larkspur, but I'm going to go China Aster all the way. I just think that this is such a cool texture. They're very similar colors, these 2 flowers, but I just love this texture, and I love asters so much, and I just think this will be really fun. And then on this side, I have 2 different kinds of basil. So we have this Basil Aromato and then the Basil Red Reuben. Now this, I love how deep that is. It's kind of like a really, really deep reddish purple, but it almost looks black, which I think is really cool and different from other greenery elements that I have. But this one is really pretty because it's this nice like green and purple like combo, which I'm very drawn to as well. And then down here we have Campanula, Champion Rose, and the Sweet Pea High Scent. Now, these are 2 flowers that I honestly have not grown a lot of. I'm always so worried about sweet peas when I plant them because I have a lot of deer activity in my yard. And the deer always eat our regular peas, our sugar peas, our beans, like all that kind of stuff. So I'm always like, what's the point of putting sweet peas out there? The deer are gonna eat them. But this is just such a pretty, like dreamy color combo. It's so soft and just, I love the like creamy yellow with the purple. I just think that's so, so beautiful. So frilly. It's just so pretty. And then this Campanula, I think it has such a cool shape to it, and it would be so different from every other flower that I'm growing. I think up here between the 2 basils, I think I'm gonna go with this Aromato just because I really like this kind of green and purple color combo. I think that's really nice. And then if I don't let it flower, it'll just be that like really pretty green color. And down here, I'm gonna chance it with the deer, and I'm gonna go Sweet Pea. All right, now let's narrow this down even further. Between these 2, you might be thinking the Scabiosa looks kind of boring. And honestly, it's not, but I am gonna go with the asters. I do love Scabiosa. I think it's so beautiful and I love it as a floaty element. Like I said, it's just such a like a dainty, pretty little flower to add to your arrangements. And a lot of times just in your garden or for cut arrangements, I think it's like the different looking flowers and the little details and that like whole mix that really brings things together. And I think that this is a perfect flower, but I'm just so drawn to this texture right now that I think I have to move it along to see if that's one of the final flowers that I'm gonna grow, just because I do really like this like light blue. It's purple, but this light blue color is really pretty. Honestly, it'd be really pretty with these sweet peas. So if you're thinking I'm going China Aster and sweet pea, that would be a great guess, but I'm gonna move the basil to the next round because I am planning, I think, on kind of moving a lot of my oregano that I have in my gardens. I'm gonna break that up. Hopefully, we'll see. It's like really in there. It's very similar to the yarrow. It's a ferocious spreader and it has spread very well. So I'm going to try and break it up, and I would like to interplant some basil in those gardens. And I think that this would be really nice. I grow other types of basil too, but I think that this will be a nice addition. These sweet peas are so pretty. Somebody please buy these sweet peas, the high scent, and tell me what I'm missing out on so that maybe next year I actually buy them. Okay, and finally, we are down to the final round. Here are the final 6 from all 3 rounds. I think I'm feeling pretty good about this because, you know, I have some statement flowers with these binary zinnias, and these China Asters can make a really nice statement flower. They're nice and big. I have a supporting, more medium flower with this Oklahoma zinnia. We've got filler with the phlox. I've got a line element with the stalk and greenery with the basil. I think I've covered like all of my bases. It's a shame that I'm not buying all of them, but I'm not. So first, this is honestly probably the hardest matchup for me, and I kind of want to save it for last, but I'm not going to. The creme brulee is an old favorite. These are both old favorites. I've been growing both of these 2 flowers since I started my garden, my cut garden. I think that they're both so beautiful and unique in their own way. So I think I'm gonna go with the stalk. I might change I don't know. For right now, I'm gonna think about it while I do the rest of these, but I think I'm gonna go with the stalk. I haven't bought any of this iron variety of stalk. I love it so much. I love these colors. They're so pretty. It's hard not to look at this picture and not want to buy it. So yeah, we're gonna go stalk. And then between these 2, the binary carmine rose and the Oklahoma pink, this is actually pretty easy for me because I have quite a few giant zinnias, especially in the different mixes that I have, the ballerina mix and the agave mix. And so I have quite a few like big binary type, dahlia type zinnias, and I think that I kind of want something more medium size. So I think I'm gonna go with the Oklahoma pink. I just think that this color is so beautiful, and I think it'll be nice to have more of a medium sized flower as like a supporting flower, especially in a lot of my dahlia arrangements that I'm gonna make. I think that this will be very pretty. And then it'll also go with some of the other medium-sized zinnias that I have. I have like the Queenie Blush and flowers like that. And then down here at the end, I love these asters so much, but I think what I'm worried about is as a cut flower, I don't think that those petals are gonna hold up as well, and I would love to try them. But since I'm only allowing myself to get 3 things, I think I am gonna go with the basil, just because I really want some more basil in my garden. So those are going to be my finals. The only one that I'm kind of questioning, you guys, is the stalk. I think I might override my first pick and go phlox. I know, I have so many different kinds of stalk already, and I just think that I would really like to have more varieties of phlox. So this is what I'm going to leave it at. These are the 3 things that I'm getting. the Phlox Creme Brulee, the Zinnia Oklahoma Pink, and this Basil, and I feel pretty good with this. So please let me know, where did I go wrong? Okay, what choices would you have made? What would you have done differently? Please let me know. I would love to hear your opinion. And yeah, that was my wish list, and I will see you guys all in the next one.